hurts. Hello everyone and welcome to another video and episode number 7 of the Wintering series focused on building resilience and documenting my training over the winter. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Sun. I'm just kidding, I'm Fergus Crawley. This is my YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new here, and hello again if you are a returning viewer. Thanks for showing up once again. So today is my first aerobic brick session of 2022, and apparently I'm on my way already. But I am looking forward to being off the turbo trainer. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a busy couple of months in general terms, so I've spent a lot of time on the turbo, and sometimes psychologically, you just need to get off the thing. And today has given us the opportunity. 5 degrees air temperature, so it is a bit chilly, but things are looking good in terms of weather. Roads are kind of dry. Forecast says overcast, but no rain. I'm on the Cervelo Caledonia 5, which I'm looking forward to bashing some miles out on. Weapon of a bike, and I'm actually running off a best guess personal bike fit at the moment, so might not be all that comfortable today, but we shall see how I get on. So, brief is around 40 to 50k on the roads, into about 10 to 15k on my feet. So we're basically just going to ride out along the East Coast until we get to a certain point, and then I'm going to put the bike in the car and start running back the other way, and then get in the car once I've done the remaining time. So flow intensity, steady state work is the brief today. We'll see how it unfolds and go from there. Something that I have done for quite a while now, and Johnny and I implement with our athletes, Omni Performance, is implementing some pre-fatigue work on the Friday before aerobic low intensity steady state Saturdays. And those of you that have been following the channel for a while will know the sort of explanation and logic behind this. Did a few videos on it as part of my Keltman prep series last year, but the premise is pretty simple in that we're inducing and eliciting a higher level of fatigue in the areas in which we are weak and going to be doing the most work, so that we hit systemic fatigue sooner on our list Saturdays, and therefore can adapt efficiency through less overall mileage, therefore inducing less overall fatigue through that volume, if that makes sense. So it's one of the many ways that we can manipulate fatigue and programming to become more efficient hybrid athletes, because we can't just rely on pounding pavement, bashing miles as you would if you were just a pure endurance athlete. I will do a video explaining that in more detail and giving more context on that, but for purposes of today, I just want to set up yesterday's session ahead of today so that you can begin to understand how the next couple of months are going to look for me training-wise. So, yesterday I had 5x5 back squats at 180 kilos to kick things off. Everything felt pretty smooth, and they're the first sort of real heavy-ish squats that I've done since 660. So everything felt pretty smooth, pretty stable, pretty controlled, which is nice. I'm not gonna lie, by set 5, given I had a pretty ropey deadlift session on Monday, my lower back was starting to get a little bit worn out, but nonetheless, everything feeling solid and smooth. Then I moved on to 4x10 dumbbell shoulder press with 30 kilos, which again is moving pretty well. I'm dealing with a very minor pec tear at the moment, fun fact, which means that I can't do any bench or dumbbell pressing and can't do any flies, as well as minimal swimming volume. So the dumbbell pressing is the best exercise that I can do at the moment for that. Then I moved on to 4 sets of max chin-ups. I think I got 15 for my first set and was on to 11 by the last set, was taking about 2 minutes rest between them. But these move pretty well. The only challenge is that I can't sort of go full range to the bottom just because the bar is quite low due to the ceiling height, but again, everything felt pretty solid. Then I moved on to some sort of dynamic assistance work, which was some hanging leg raises into some dumbbell lateral raises. Both of these felt pretty solid, just going through the motions and working up some fatigue ahead of the main purpose of the day, which is starting to acclimatize to some more strength endurance style work, basically some continuous muscular endurance work ahead of my aerobic work on the Saturday. So today wasn't full send as it normally would be, but it was basically easing back into that sort of volume and getting used to it as I'm adapting again to this style of training. And I had 5 sets of 40 plus 10. So 40 reverse lunges in a front rack position with a 24 kilo kettlebell into 10 D-ball over shoulders with 30 kilos. So 5 sets of that with about 60 seconds rest between sets, and oh my goodness, were my legs and lower back on fire by the end of this. So I'm already feeling a little bit sore and worn out in my legs this morning ahead of my ride, but that is entirely the point, because this will improve my efficiency for less overall mileage, which is an effective way to get to the end goal as a hybrid athlete from a programming point of view. So that is a very long intro. I hope that all makes sense, but we have gone back in time and we are now back to the present, where I am about to head off for my first brick session of 2022. Before we go any further, a couple of things to mention. First of all, if at any stage you do enjoy the video, please do drop it a like, comment down below, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. I contain the power of 1,000 suns, and I will smite thee if you do not, so please do get that done immediately. Thank you very much. And finally, before we head off, I thought I'd just cover off a few winter riding essentials. So there's the obvious stuff like tyre levers, spare tubes, a multi-tool, all that obvious stuff. Make sure you've got your nutrition. But beyond that, overshoes are an absolute lifesaver. These are neoprene ones from Hoob, which is their specialty, as they're a wetsuit company. But they also make fantastic cycling gear as well, as you can see. But I'm in chamois, long legged bib shorts, neoprene overshoes. I've got some sort of thicker tyres on. I've obviously got gloves on, and these are a bit waterproof as well, but I have had these for about 11 years, so whether they're still waterproof or not, I do not know. I've got a buff hidden under this microphone here, which I can pull up over my head if things get chilly. And that is pretty much it. Other than that, just keep moving, keep the heart rate high, make sure that you've got enough layers, make sure you've got things you can unzip and ventilate from, because when you're on the bike, you're going downhill with some wind, you can get quite chilly, and then you can be going uphill without any wind, and all of a sudden you feel like you're sitting in an oven cooking ahead of Christmas dinner, which is not the way to make things happen if you're looking to enjoy your bike ride, to be quite honest. So that is pretty much it from a winter riding point of view. The only other thing to mention is make sure you chamois cream up, because as a hybrid athlete, you should probably logically have a bit more muscle mass than your conventional cyclist, which might mean that your thighs are at a higher risk than others normally would be. But without any further ado, I'm going to head off for my first brick session of 2022.
Thank you. Okay, so what are we at? 51.5k, hour and 36 done. I've just hit lap rather than stop. There we go. So what I'm going to do is get this in the back of the truck, and we're going to head back up the road a little bit to get to the spot where we're going to run, where whilst I'm getting changed, I'll run you through the ride, what we're doing next, and a bit more of an overview of why I'm training like I am today.
Okay, so bike ride is complete, and we are at the starting point for the run. We've just driven up because it's so sort of undulating and hilly that way that running here for where I am at this stage of the training process would not be the most effective use of 1 hour on my feet. So I'm going to get my bike computer off the bike so that I can debrief you on this data here. So 1 hour, 36 minutes, 42 seconds, 51.5 kilometers covered, average speed 32 kilometers an hour, max speed 59.4, which is tantalizingly close to 60, but I won't lose any sleep over it. Average watts 206, normalized power 238, max watts 846. You probably don't care about any of this, but here I am just rattling off what's on screen. Elevation was pretty minimal, which was the intention for the day, 233, and average heart rate was 153, which is higher than I expect. And the past fortnight, I have been suspicious of my heart rate data, so it might be time for a new heart rate monitor. But nonetheless, according to this, 153. So that is job done there. I'm not going to put that back on now, I'm going to put that in the car. So purpose of today was just to basically get between 90 minutes to 2 hours out on the roads, just get used to being outside again, used to obviously the hip control rather than being off the turbo, enjoy the weather and get on my feet for a run. So the brief was between 2 to 3 hours total aerobic work today as we start to ramp the volume back up on Saturdays and with some Sunday work as well actually coming in. But I am gonna get changed. Funny story. So I don't have any undershorts under this as I'm in bib shorts and nothing but. The Gymshark 2-in-1 speed shorts that I have with me have an inner lining, so I'm actually going to have to fumble around and, you know what, just try and avoid an indecent exposure charge from inside my car. So that won't be on camera, unfortunately. I'm sure some of you are devastated about that, but nonetheless, I'm going to get changed and then I will run you through my thought process for the run. Okay, so brief for the run is basically, I'm just going to go 1 hour-ish on my feet, maybe a little bit more, see how I feel, see what scenery I'm enjoying, and then go from there. But I say again, the purpose of this training session is basically the beginning of a real steady increase of volume work over the next however many months. Getting back into big year of triathlon focused work whilst keeping my strength up, and this is my first outdoor brick of 2022, as I've already said, and is the title of the video, so nice work, Fergus. Repetition, but my GPS looks like it's about to load, so I will get ready to go. Name a better colour coordinator, I dare you. I dare you. Can't be done, it can't be done. And let's just go home actually. This is all the success that I need today. So I am going to layer up because it's still quite chilly. It's below, don't worry, the colour coordination is not compromised by putting this layer on, but my audio will be, so bear with me 1 second. There we go. So yeah, anywhere between 10 and 15k, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on how this feels off my feet. Obviously, riding in the turbo trainer is great prep for tri work in terms of the movement patterns, but what it doesn't count for is the sort of swaying and hip control that you need when you're outdoors turning corners. So anyone that's done brick sessions before or has done triathlon training before, you'll know when you're a little bit out of condition with this sort of stuff, the first run off your feet can feel a little bit awkward. But I've had a few sessions with turbo trainer and bike in the same day recently, so it shouldn't feel totally alien, but it should feel totally remarkable. Thank you. So, job done, successful day all round I'd say. 10k, 55:36, data on the screen for you here. Pace was 5:33 per k, another 800 calories to reconsume. Well, 90% of plus the bike calories burned. If you want a debrief on how I approach nutrition, look for this video here, but I will do a full day of eating around a big training day very soon, so sit tight. I will explain all in due course. Average heart rate was 149. The brief there was just to sit below 150 average throughout. A little bit of ebbs and flows, but my heart rate monitor kept disconnecting, which was annoying. So I just went off feel because I've got a very refined perception of heart rate relative to effort, relative to pace. Quite a lot of wind that picked up actually for that run. So I really was up against it for a little while, but all in all went well. Everything felt very smooth, very smooth. Pronounce your T's, Fergus. Very smooth. Everything felt very efficient and I enjoyed being outdoors properly again for the first time in a while because this is the first weekend that we've had where the weather's actually been manageable for a ride
and a run without just loads and loads of kit, loads and loads of prep, and there's been so much going on that hasn't been feasible. So I'm pleased to be off the turbo. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do give it a like, comment down below, and make sure you have subscribed. Any questions about anything, do just ask away. But I thought I'd just give you a bit of an introduction into brick training, into how my training over the next sort of several months is going to be looking in terms of my weekend volume. And I would run you through what has been a beautiful day in bonny Scotland. So I think that is pretty much it from me today. I will do a debrief and a bit of a discussion on optimizing training around heart rate, etc., in the weeks to come. But that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.